It's probably the most played move. It looks like the most natural. You kind of take towards your king side, so you try and defend more, but we'll see why this is bad. The best moves are either d5 or g take f5. G take f5 is very brave. I will say, I think there was a game not too long ago that Leslie So played as black in the same position, and he played g take f5. And I believe it was pro chess league, and I believe it was a draw. But white had a good amount of initiative the whole game. Probably the move I would prefer is d5, where you're aiming to do, and this applies to kind of the principle that we discussed in the other lecture, where if your opponent is playing on a flank or on the side, it's usually best to respond in the center. In this case, kind of no difference. You gain tempo on the bishop, and the main line here would be white usually plays bishop to b3. And then black has an interesting idea. Black can play c4 here, really taking over the initiative, force white to take. And then black can play d4. And I will say that this is a very complex position, and we could spend an hour or two talking about it. It's important, if you play this as white, you should know the main idea here, which is f6. And this might be a little beyond my understanding too, but as far as I know, after bishop take f6, white can play e5. It's very, very complex. Knight, bishop are hanging, but the idea is that if the bishop moves or if pawn is captured on e5, the knight can move to e4, and that white still goes for some attack on the side. So it's important, if you play an opening, you want to be prepared for like all responses that your opponent can do. But okay, let's go back. Let's see why e take f5 is so bad. And it honestly doesn't look too bad at first. And white's next move maybe doesn't look that impressive. It's queen h4. The problem that arises for black in this position is what to do next. And it's not that obvious how black should continue. There's no obvious targets that black can attack. And I will say that most people play knight d4 or knight e5. These are the two most common moves. I should note that if bishop e6, this loses tactically to take in knight g5. It's too many forks and checkmating threats. So let's look at the move I have, knight e5. White to move. How do you continue your attack? Very nice move here for white. Yeah, bishop g5. Actually, surprisingly simple too. But the idea is you just want to overwhelm this knight on e7. The problem for black, f6 is not possible, not legal. And white will inevitably continue with knight d5. So the game I had prepared was actually two games, which ended in the same checkmate. And might as well show it. Rook e8. Knight take e5 first, just kind of simplifying, and then knight d5. And it's very annoying for black to defend knight on e7, as we can see. If black plays a move like bishop f8, it's just made in two, like f6 and checkmate. What happened in both of these games, after king f8, it's the only other way to defend the knight, then queen take h7. And black's position just falls apart really quickly. And notice like all of black's pieces are just on terrible squares. Queen d6, knight take e7, rook take e7. Now bishop h6, with the idea that after bishop take h6, there would be queen h8 mate. So interestingly enough, both games that reached this position had queen f6 played. Now white to move mate in one. Yeah, queen h8 mate. It's kind of a nice mate. And the games were Kirsch Stern 2004 and Hebbinghaus Mengel 1995. I will say that there's a